Hey guys, morning. Morning. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being on time. This is probably the first time like we've had people waiting for us to start and nearly every single person who's been invited is here. Thanks a lot. I know we put a very early start in the schedule. Really appreciate it. Who here is from out of town? Who's from Malaysia? Excellent. Thank you so much for coming down. Who's from Indonesia? Great, couple of you. And who's from Thailand? Just you. And Vietnam? Fantastic. And Singapore? Everyone else. Okay. Great. So as you can see, we have a lot of people. Everyone here is in the e-commerce community. Most of you are entrepreneurs who have quit your jobs to do this. So fantastic. Welcome back to those of you who are here in April for our first Southeast Asia cross-border e-commerce event. If you remember, that time we talked about like how not to get your ads disapproved, how to, what's the best sort of ad strategy that you can come up with, what are some ideas that you can test, and then we had a discussion about what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced. The spirit of this event is similar. But I just want to get a sense first of what sort of mix of people we have in this room. So who here is pure dropshipping, meaning you don't hold inventory, you list products, and you ship straight from the supplier? Just a show of hands. No one? Come on, guys. I can see your ad accounts. Okay, a few of you. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask for the name of the store and stuff, just to get a sense. And who here holds inventory? Inventory for your products? Just a few of you. Wait, sorry, is everyone here in the e-commerce business? And who here makes their own creatives for their ads? Like you shoot your own videos or take your own pictures? Nice. Okay. Edit. Okay, all right, that's a good start. And who here brands their products with their own brand? Ah, nice, okay. Good, I'm glad you're branding because Melvin's gonna tell us how he does that later. Fantastic, okay, so as you can see, we have a real mix over here. My intention was that the number of hands up would gradually go down. And the idea here is that it seems like most people are still not necessarily making their own creatives or branding their stores just yet. So you've probably guessed from the name of the event today that that's going to be our area of focus. And just as we did the last time around, there's going to be some time where we've lined up some experts from our own teams from Facebook who have experience in running businesses that are sort of like well-recognized brands. And we'll also have one of the speakers from our in-house creative team who's taken a look at some of the ads that maybe some of you in this room have run. Don't worry, all the names have been anonymized. And we're basically going to show you like what we tried to do with some ads that we could see on our platform. Now, in the afternoon, we're going to shift gear, and it's going to be very hands-on. And we're going to plug in and show you how you can take a very simple still image and turn it into something that's really eye-catching and can drive a lot better performance and results for you than just a pure still image. And after that, we're going to talk about holiday season planning. So end of the year, that's the most important time of year from what we hear. So we'll talk about how we can gear up for that. So a couple of housekeeping matters. This is the Wi-Fi network. And the password, that's a 0 in Move Fast. And if you need to use the restrooms, it's just outside. And if you need to grab a bottle of water, it's also available in the kitchen right outside. But if possible, do stay engaged and in the room during the presentations. We do have plenty of breaks built into the schedule. Great. So I'm going to stop talking and hand it over to Tuk. You may recognize Tuk because he also kicked us off at the last event. Over to you, Tuk.
Like you said, kicked us off. Good morning. Welcome to Facebook. Looks like you made it through security, so that's good. I think all of us here kind of come to realize that we're in this exciting movement. There's a movement going on, and we probably don't even realize that there's something going on until a few years pass. In the past, I've coined the term revolution. Some of us here have heard me said that before, but I think it's more than that. It's something more profound. I mean, for example, every few weeks, you hear something like Kmart is shutting down their stores, or Walmart is scaling back, or more recently, probably this week, JCPenney closing down a bunch of their stores. So what's going on there, right? It seems like it's not just that the social and business activities are moving from offline to online. It's more than that. And I think the people in this room will be responsible for the next movement. The online disruptors are shutting down the traditional retail guys, but it appears that there's signals that the disruptors becoming the disruptees. And the new disruptors are probably will be the people in this room. So that's a good news. So what should we do? I mean, if you're thinking about you're going to become the new disruptors, we need to be in the spotlight more than likely, right? Let's have a show of hands. If anybody here would like to show their online store to the public. Anybody? Okay. That's the point, right? We're calling ourselves drop shippers. I know that this morning nobody recognized, they don't want to call themselves drop shippers, but in the industry, that's what we call ourselves. And if we want to brand ourselves or rebrand ourselves, we don't want to be known as drop shippers, because drop shippers and affiliate marketers don't sound very good within the industry. Kind of shady, sketchy. I know, we're here in, it's a closed door, no press around. We need to be direct. And that's the whole point. We should be calling ourselves something different. How about cross-border entrepreneurs? Why not, right? That's what we do. That's the whole point, right? Branding or rebranding ourselves. What happens if we don't do that? Well, the first layer is trust. Nobody would want to trust us. The partners, the platforms, they don't have that great trust in us. They're not sure if we're going to be around in 2 to 5 years. Whether you're talking about payment, fulfillment, intellectual property issues, trust is very important. The next layer is sustainability. Let me ask this question. Anybody here have been selling T-shirts before or are selling T-shirts right now? Like Teespring and Gear Launch and whatnot? Anybody? Okay, we have one. A few years back, selling T-shirt online was the hardest thing. Now we're seeing signals or people telling us that it's not as good as it used to be. My question would be, are the consumers stopped wearing T-shirt? The demand going down or something? No, it's not that. What we're seeing right now is that the consumer is getting tired of all of the, how should we say this, the low quality activities from the T-shirt sellers. I'll just leave it there. And let me put up one item. The last item is recognition, right? I think if we're entrepreneurs, and if you're the owner of a company, let's say ABC company, you would like to go out there and say, hey, I'm the CEO of ABC Corporation. But that's not the case here with cross-border entrepreneurs. Nobody would like to show their stores, right? Again, the theme is we need to step into the spotlight. And the theme of today is branding and creative. Why are we saying this? Why are we pretty sure that this is the way to go? Because we have seen this working in other regions. For example, like Australia and New Zealand region. Folks over there, immediately they start to brand themselves when they start to sell online, whether you're cross-border or just domestic. And some of the speakers today will share some of that stuff. They're coming from the ANZ market. So we're pretty confident that's probably the way to go. And we're pretty confident if we're going to be disruptors in the next phase of the revolution, this is what we're going to have to do. And today, the fantastic speakers that you will hear will be sharing the best practices on how to do that. So yeah, once again, thank you. Welcome to Facebook. And by the way, if you'd like to partner with other people from other countries, they're here. If you have a business and you would like to scale them up and thinking of different business model, please talk to us, talk to Ashwin, Iting, and any Facebook member in the house. We're actively working with folks to scale their business up in the right way. Again, thank you.
Thanks, Tuk. Okay, so what you just heard, I hope resonated with you. I think we've talked about this before, and I understand there may be reasons why talking about like, this is my store and these are the products that I sell is not a great idea right now. But if we don't get past that, then there's a good chance that the next time we meet up, we'll be talking about very different things. It won't be as positive as how can we look ahead to the end of the year and how can we focus on creative. We're going to be talking a lot about how we're scared and how there's just too many people coming into the business and everyone is selling the same stuff at the same time. So the theme of today is a lot about like how we can differentiate ourselves and build up a sustainable e-commerce business. And we're going to hear now from Melvin, who has done this successfully several times in the past and is going to share with us some of his secrets. Come on.
Hey guys, how's it going? Good morning. A little bit nervous here, so try to help me out. Okay, so my name is Melvin. A little bit introduction about myself. So born and raised in Malaysia. Got out from uni about a year and a half ago. So I'm 23 this year. I've been in e-commerce for about 4 to 5 years now. Been doing drop shipping, been in tech startups, worked in Silicon Valley for the last for 6 months last year. So I have about 4 years of user acquisition, growth hacking, product marketing for tech, mostly tech startups. So I've been very involved in tech startups before this, but now e-commerce. I built 3 multi-million-dollar businesses in the last 12 months. They're all in e-commerce. I spent about close to $4 million on Facebook now in the last 12 months as well. I've been featured on BBC News, Tech in Asia, and so on and so forth. So this is numbers that we have done last 12 months. So we have done approximately more than $10 million in sales in the last 12 months, completed 180,000 orders across 65 countries, and we're a team of 11 people. And we started this company probably about probably a year ago. So yeah, I'm here to share my journey on how we started e-commerce and how did we get into the whole dropshipping scene. So I started doing e-commerce probably back in 2012, back in Australia. So I lived in Australia for the last 6 years. And I grew up in a small town in Malaysia that knew nothing about e-commerce, knew nothing about, online retail, knew nothing about you can sell things online. So when I got to Australia, I realized that, there's something called e-commerce. And I was quite lucky at a point of time where I found an e-commerce company in Melbourne that was willing to take me in as an intern. And, not knowing anything about e-commerce, I picked up about e-commerce. I learned more about e-commerce. I learned what is Facebook ads all about. And, and same with Google AdWords, SEO, and tons of other things. So during my journey of e-commerce last 5 years now, I think I've been in POD, print on demand, selling like random T-shirts, selling drop shipping. But now that we have moved away from just being a drop shipper, and I think in this session we want to emphasize a lot on how can we build sustainable businesses. Because from my point of view, I think like all of you guys, when Ashwin asks who's drop shipping here, none of you guys want to admit that. So I think it's quite a sensitive and gray area that people don't want to talk about these days. And I think at the same time as well, we want to know how can we build sustainable businesses from e-commerce. So long story short, I saw opportunities in e-commerce. So I left uni a year and a half ago, and I came out. I knew that I don't want to be in a 9-to-5 jobs, and I hated, being 9 to 5, following people, and just listening to instructions. And I've been that rebellious since young. So that's just not my thing. And I think the only thing that I knew at that point was e-commerce. So I told my parents that I want to do e-commerce. I wanted to learn. I want to dive in full time. And at the same time, I got an opportunity to go to Silicon Valley last year. So I interned with one of the biggest edu-tech company in the world called Udemy. So I was there working on their CROs, most of the paid channels. And I think during that time as well, I was bored, and we started a drop shipping store. So but that was back in June 2016. So just about a year ago. And at a point of time, I can review the products now, because at a point of time it was a big craze. So the mermaid craze was really, really big, and so we started selling mermaid-oriented products, fantasy products like unicorns and that sort of thing. And at one point we were one of the biggest, mermaid drop shippers according to our Chinese supplier. So from there, we started scaling our Facebook ads, knowing how to actually build, our business out. And I think at the point of time when I was doing it all alone. So I was doing it all alone. We were doing it probably about close to $1 million. And I told my two partners are in the room. I told them, I said, hey, I need help. I can't do this alone. I can't handle 500 emails a day anymore. And at the point of time, we had virtual assistants helping us and all. But I think in order to be a sustainable business, we have tons of complaints. We have tons of disputes, and we have tons of, people trashing us on social media, trashing us on Instagram, Facebook. And I think that's when we realized that, in order to build a sustainable business, we need to solve all these problems that regarding shipping, regarding customer support, regarding inconsistent quality of products, and so on and so forth, in order to build a sustainable business. So these days we have moved out from drop shipping, probably about almost 7-8 months ago. So these days we normally, this is our entire process of building our company at the moment. So we have about 4 to 5 brands at the moment, and we generally look at a product, we validate a product, we give it probably about weeks to month to validate our products, and then we design our own packaging, we do our own manufacturing, we go through the whole supply chain to make sure that our products are unique, or at least have our own branding on it. And we work with fulfillment centers across the world. We have 3 fulfillment centers now that we work with, and then we work with a ton of influencers or ambassadors. So embed like your bloggers, your makeup artists, or whatever it is, that sort of influencers on Instagram and Facebook, that we send our products out to them, get them to post content, and then so we have unique content for our own products. And from there we push our contents on Facebook and Instagram, and that's when we scale and sales comes in. So this is one of our brand that we're in teeth whitening space. These are the influencers that we work with. So before this, we were just selling a non-branded product, like just any products that you can find on AliExpress. And this was something that we saw an opportunity in it, and we branded the product. And that's why I think we emphasize a lot on putting our own brand, being unique, and just not using AliExpress photos. So I think in e-commerce game, there's no one size fits all. It's always about validating and testing. And I think this is one of our smaller stores. I just took a screenshot of our ads that we were running. We had more than 800 ads that run at the same time. And in order to be up in this game, we are constantly reviewing our ads, reviewing our ad copy, and it's about testing. But disclaimer, I no longer run my own ads anymore. So we have a team that runs our ads at the moment. So this is, okay, so I want to show you guys what happened before we put a brand on it. So this is actually what happened with the product that we just showed you. So we started this brand probably we started this product end of February because we just wanted to test out if there's a market for it. And we were doing, 260K at a point of time. That was really the time where we realized that there's a market for it. And if you look at our conversion rate was pretty decent at 3%. And this is before we put a brand on it. So we took the entire April month to figure out our whole supply chain, to figure out designing our own products, putting our products to the US, and this is what happened with putting our own brand on it. So we increased our conversion literally from 3% to 4.8% here, which is not that great yet, but that's a 160% increase in our conversion rate. And I think in terms of like putting a brand, working on branding, working on content, I think that really help us in improving our customers' confidence level of buying our products, and that help us to increase our conversion rate as well. And I think in e-commerce, I think the most important thing that we look at or I look at all the time is our conversion rate. So think about it, from 3% to 4.8%, that's literally 160%, 1.6x on your conversion rate. So if you're getting 100K the previous month, this month you're getting 160K just by improving your conversion. So that's I think that's something that a lot of e-commerce people don't realize, but I think that's like a golden nuggets in your store as well. So why did we decide to differentiate ourselves and not just be another e-commerce, or not just to be another drop shipper? I think back to the main question that we ask ourselves again and again is, can we build a sustainable business from drop shipping? So at a point of time, I think, so me and my partners, we sat down and we said that, in order to build a sustainable business, I'm not sure, and I'm unsure of how can we build a sustainable business out from drop shipping when we had so many complaints, so many disputes, so many people trashing us on social media. So that's why we decide to differentiate ourselves, going to branding, going to our own packaging, going to our own fulfillment centers. And at the same time, I think most of you understand, drop shipping has been getting super saturated lately in the last 1-2 years. There's so many gurus around that teach you about e-commerce, and there's so many gurus selling you courses on Facebook ads and teaching you about drop shipping from AliExpress, and it's just too saturated. Everyone's selling the exact same product, using the exact same images from AliExpress, and literally it's just flooding Facebook with contents that are not that great. So and we're pretty big on customer satisfaction. So we want customers, in order to build, back to the same question of building sustainable business, in order to build a sustainable business, we want our customers to be happy. So to get our customers to be happy, you need great shipping time, great quality of products, great customer support, and that whole thing, I'll show you in a slide, that whole thing is like a vicious cycle of e-commerce. And at the same time, we are constantly thinking about ways, how can we build defensible barriers in e-commerce? Because like all of you guys know, e-commerce is such a low barrier of entry. Like anyone can literally start a store with Shopify, get a Facebook ad account, and just try selling on e-commerce. And I think every day we ask ourselves, how can we build barriers on all our brands so that people cannot just come in tomorrow and grab our share market and kick our brand out from the market. So that's something that I want you guys to think about all the time as well. How can we not build another same store with another same guy and not prevent anyone from coming in to grab our market? Oops, sorry. So this is a vicious cycle of e-commerce that I think most of you understand. So I wouldn't say majority of dropshippers are bad dropshippers, but I would say that there's certain percentage of dropshippers that are have pretty slow shipping time, and that some of our drop shippers don't even respond to your emails because when we started, I actually buy a lot from my competitors, trying to see what sort of quality products they sell, what sort of shipping time they do, and how's their customer support. So I've done quite a bit of work in figuring out the whole drop shipping scene, and I think it's fair to say that not all drop shippers, but a big majority of drop shippers has slow shipping time, and that leads to bad experience because when customers receive your products in like 30, 45 days, people are angry, and that leads to bad reputation, people trashing on social media, and end of the day, unsustainable business. So this is what we want to build. Building brands, building more sustainable businesses, having fast shipping time, working with fulfillment centers in different regions, great customer support, great experience that lead to happy customers, good reputation, sustainable business. I think it's pretty easy to understand. And like I said, we are pretty big on customer support. So we hire a team out in Malaysia to do customer support. We are a team of 8 in Malaysia right now that takes care of emails, not on 24 hours basis, but on probably about 16 hours. So within the 16 hours working hours, we reply our emails within 2 hours. I mean, we are trying to reduce our response time as much as we can. I think moving forward, in order to grow into Q3 and Q4, we are planning to hire out like 24-hour team that takes care of 8 hours each, so that we have our customer support, covering entire region of the world. And I think not just us, I think it's pretty big. I mean, customer satisfaction is pretty big on our end. I think that should be something that all of you guys should be working on as well. Fulfillment centers. So we work with fulfillment centers very closely in the US, one in Asia, and one in Australia. And we ship our products all out to 3 different parts of the world. And the main objective here backs to improving our shipping time. And improving our shipping time goes back to the whole vicious cycle again about building a sustainable e-commerce business. So difficulties and challenges, I think, shifting away from drop shipping model, there's a lot of difficulties for sure. I think one of the earlier part would be figuring out your whole supply chain, your packaging, your design, finding the right manufacturers, getting samples from them, comparing all your samples. It takes time, it takes money, it takes effort. And I think all these things are really tough for us in the beginning when we just started moving away from drop shipping. And another issue would be inventory management, because right now, literally, we are managing our own inventory and not just drop shipping. Just don't worry about stocks, and that's none of your business because it's all your suppliers' job to look for inventories. And most of the time, poor inventory management leads to cash flow, tight in cash flow. And next one will be content generation. So you are no longer using your AliExpress photos anymore. You're no longer stealing from people's content, but you're actually using, because your product has a brand now, so you want your brand to be on your content. So that's quite, it's quite challenging at the same time because you're working with so many people and trying to endorse your products, and there's so many factors that might affect your content as well. So end of the day, costs increase significantly, but like I say, I think as long as our lifetime value of our customers are higher, I think it's worth doing it. And in order to build a sustainable business, I guess we see that's the way to do it. So my top 3 learnings, managing cash flow. So cash flow is really, really something that I think private label brands face problems with that all the time, especially paying your suppliers. So like how we got out from cash flow problems earlier was we had a good payment term with our suppliers. So we pay them on a 60 to 90 day basis. So we don't pay them immediately, and that helped us significantly in terms of like helping our cash flow. So we could pump more money into Facebook ads and inventory management as well. So last year we stuffed up during Q4 because we didn't know Q4 was such a big, it was such a big season. And we underestimated it. We ordered our products too late, and when everyone shipped out from China at that point of time, that's the whole customs in the US clock out, and the whole that's delay in shipping, and even shipping companies have trouble with dealing with containers or products coming in. So I think moving on to Q4, Q3, Q4, I think you guys should be working on your inventory if you guys are keeping your own inventory. and planning inventory out at this point of time. And like I said over and over again, always build defensible barriers for your businesses, because they're like your babies. So if you don't protect them, they might just, someone might just come in and snatch your baby off. So that's my top 3 learnings, and I think that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Melvin. I think a lot of what Melvin said resonates with us, and I really like what you said about, look, this is not going to be easy, but if you sit up, I think so. If you think about like whether we want to be in this business 3-5 years from now, then it's going to be important to put this effort in at the start to build up those barriers, because it's not ideal to have 100 other people who can sell the exact same thing as you. So Melvin's going to take some questions. We have a couple of mics around the room. So just put your hand up if you have any questions for Melvin about his journey. What were the challenges he faced? He's promised that he'll share as much as he can with us today. So this is a really good chance to get some insights, if you've been thinking about this, but you're not sure if it's something you want to commit to. So don't be shy, put your hand up, and maybe I'll just ask a question to kick things off while everyone's gathering their thoughts. So what happened when you said costs increased significantly?
Yep.
How did you deal with that, and how long did it take for you to figure out how you should move forward when costs are increasing?
Yeah. For example, costs increase because we started designing our own packaging. We need to look for our own designers, getting our own packaging done, and most of the time packaging has huge MOQs. And same with your private label products. When you have your own brand on it, you have pretty big MOQs compared to drop shipping. Drop shipping, you just literally sell anything's available without any branding and just standard packaging. But when it comes to private label, we have our own packaging. We have the way we want our products to be packaged, the way we want it to be delivered even to our customers. I think, and all these sort of things that builds up our costs. But how do we overcome it? I think, like, back to the same thing, we negotiated a payment term with our suppliers. So instead of paying them upfront of whatever they want, but we try to negotiate that by paying 10% deposit and the rest, paying 60 days later, and that really helped in our cash flow. Yeah.
Okay. And did you change anything on the pricing of your products, or was it possible for you to, price higher as a result of the brand?
Definitely. I think when it comes to having your own brand, having your own, packaging, you could it literally separates you out from just any other generic brand or generic product, and that gives you the opportunity to sell at a more premium price. But at the same time, you want to be in competitive market. So most of the time, we try to price it according to what just a general products price at. Because if that's the case, then you definitely have a higher conversion because people compare two the same products with a brand without a brand. So yeah.
Great. Any questions from the room? No? Awesome. Okay, let's go there first.
Yeah, hi Melvin.
Yes.
So are all your stores all like branded, or like all has brands, or are you
Yep.
still testing dropshipping?
So
products?
we have a general stores that sells all our products, all our brands, but most of our stores right now are all branded. And moving forward, I think we are launching 3 more stores coming up next few months. All of them are branded stores.
How do you control your inventory in terms of shipping to all the 3PLs, right?
Yep.
How do you control whether this product is going to sell
Yep.
before being stuck with all the cash flow? Because you still have to pay your suppliers
Yep.
eventually, right?
Yep.
How do
So
you manage that?
like I said, we started out testing our products we give a certain amount of time to test the products on a generic packaging without our own branding for probably 2 weeks to a month. If we see we have a lot of internal metrics that we track. If we see there's good traction on the products, there's good people are liking it. We talk to a lot of our current customers on what they think about it, and from there on we decide whether do we want to jump into the market or do we want to jump into the product.
Okay, thanks.
The answers.
Hi, Melvin.
Hello.
Yeah. How do you deal with the influencer? How do you pay them?
Yep. Okay. So we have 2 full-time people in our team that does influencers outreach. So we do a lot of databasing work. So we reach them out mainly through Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, and we look out for these people. And we literally so this is how it works. So literally, this girl in our team will go through all the influencers that we want to target. Like we have a specific, say, I want 10,000 followers. I want her to be based in US, whatever it is. She'll do all the database work in a week one, and then later on she'll reach out to these people manually and follow up emails on them. So it's a very manual work, a lot of time to put into it. That's why we have 2 people that are doing it full time right now, just on influencers.
Any more questions?
So we pay them on according to what they want. So it depends. If you want them to produce a video or a photo or whatever it is, it depends on, because every influencers work in very different way. So, and some influencers, are more sensitive to different type of products. So yeah, we pay them according to post or video or whatever package that they could provide to us, and then from there on we negotiate with them.
I think we have a question from Gav.
Melvin, question here. Hi, I'm Gav from Facebook. So do most of your products sell now through the branded stores versus, what percentage of it is branded stores versus the aggregators like the Amazons and the Rakutens and such?
We actually don't sell anything on aggregators.
But you didn't before, but now you don't sell anything
No,
through
we
aggregators.
have always been on Shopify. Yeah, we have not been on Amazon.
Okay, hi Melvin. I have a question here.
Oh, hey.
So you probably started testing the product using like generic ad creative, and then when you move on to branding, you make your own ad creatives, or you first send them out to influencers, and then once you get the content, you use that content to use it as ad creative. Like
Yep,
how
so-
often, how many angles do you have to test?
Yep. So the whole product testing phase probably takes about 2 to 4 weeks, or it really depends on different sort of products. So when we run through our numbers after 2 weeks, 4 weeks, we realize there's opportunity in it. We will have probably a month of downtime, like in March to April. Literally, we were down on that brand. So that whole month took us with manufacturing our own products, reaching out to influencers, sending our products to influencers, getting our own photo shoots done as well and video shoots done. And we do this all in-house, not in-house, like we did it in Melbourne. And we hired out a team, models to do all our products. And at the same time, we work with influencers as well. So when 30 days is up, all your products are ready, we launch all this together with our own content, and at the same time, we influencers content.
Okay, last question. The ad creative, original ad creative, is it already dying by the time you set up your brand, or is it still working?
What do you mean? You mean the ad creative? That
The
we used
original one that
previously?
you used to test for the product.
Oh, we don't use that anymore. Like we don't. Once we have our own branded content, we only use our own branded content, and we don't use the generic content anymore.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Melvin.
Yep.
I'm wondering if you're able to reveal whether your products are manufactured in US or China, or even more info on that.
Yeah, sure.
Manufac-
All our products are manufactured in China.
China.
China, 100% in China.
I see.
What?
Yeah.
You're not manufacturing? Trump will be so disappointed. Guys, we have a few more minutes. If there's any more questions.
Yeah, hi Melvin. So,
Hey.
I mean, you don't answer this if it's sensitive. So, what percentage of like your business comes from the influencers side?
Honestly,
Yeah.
very honest question. Very honest answer. Very low.
Okay.
Very, very low.
So
More
you do it
of-
more for branding.
Yeah, more
Okay.
branding, more content. Because end of the day, I think everyone knows the biggest channel here is, Facebook.
Is there a reason why you guys don't use like I'm sure there's influencers networks, right? That
Yep.
can have like all this database instead
Yep.
of doing all the manual work. Why you guys don't use that?
Yep. So previously we used to scrape them off on APIs and just scrape all people, all influencers that have, say X number of followers to X number of followers. But I think there's more work involved in that by going through manually one by one than going through, because when we pick our influencers, we are very picky on who we work with and what kind of influencers that we work with, what kind of persona they have on their page, and a lot of factors that we see. So that's why we decide to, pick through all these influencers ourselves rather than using a platform out there.
Do you track your sales from influencers as well?
We do. So we give them a discount code for them to post on their posts. But that's why I know that sales from there are really, really low.
Okay, thanks.
Nice. Now we're cooking. We have 5 more minutes before we're scheduled to start the next session. So we can either take more questions. Sounds like a lot of good stuff coming up here. Or we can take a break. Anyone else?
Sure.
No. Okay. I think we'll take a quick 2-minute bio break before we kick off the next session. Thank you so much, Melvin. That was really insightful.
Thank you.
Melvin's going to be here throughout the day, so there'll be opportunities to talk to him one-to-one as well. Thank you, Melvin.